So I had a date last night, but let me go back just a little bit. Uh, so I meet this girl on POF, which is Plenty of Fish for those of you who may not know. It's basically like bottom tier online dating, which is probably why I go there to look for women. And we start chatting back and forth a little bit. I don't know a whole lot about her, but she's not far away. She's from like the next town over. She seems friendly enough, approachable enough. She's a bigger girl, but that's never bothered me. So we make plans to get together for a date. Uh, the idea was we were going to order Mexican, go pick it up together, and go back to my place to watch a movie. She was going to bring movie and everything. Okay, cool. I'm going to split the bill because I only get paid every 2 weeks, and I had a few days left to payday, so I was kind of scraping by. She was totally cool with that, splitting the bill and all that. So we get in there and we sit down, we're waiting on our food, and that's where things start to get a little weird. Uh, she asked me about the age of my kids because I had children. I told her, and then I said, "Well, so no kids for you then?" She said, "No," and then tells me something along the lines of, "God said no babies," or "God told me not to have kids." And at this point, I'm not sure if this is like some, conservative Christian, no children born out of wedlock thing, or if this is like a medical not being able to bear a child issue. I don't really know how to take that, at the moment. Uh, but it's not, but a few moments later, she tells me, "But I've always wanted to have kids. I've always wanted to get pregnant." And, red flag. So I just kind of, yeah, make a mental note of that to be extra careful if anything does happen. And yeah, I ain't fucking around with that. So so we get talking about her living situation. She's with mom and the stepdad, which is what it is. Okay, people on hard times, uh, living together, helping each other pay bills, whatever. So I knew that she didn't drink, and my profile says that I'm a fairly regular drinker. So she tells me, "Oh, I don't drink because I'm diabetic. I can't drink, or only on very special occasions, maybe every once in a blue moon." Okay. And then so we get talking about diabetes. I had mentioned that both my grandmothers had been, my grandmother on each side had been diabetic. And she asked me, "Well, how many times a day do you pee?" I'm like, "Okay." Never really thought about it, but I'm like running it through my head. I'm like, I don't know, a few times a day. But I thought, I'd crack a joke, and I said, "Well, it depends on how many beers I drank." And I'd chuckle. And she looks at me deadpan and goes, "That's what an alcoholic would say." And I kind of laughed it off, and I said, "Yeah, that was a joke." And she said, "I know, but that's what an alcoholic would say." I'm like, all right, yep, I bet they would. You're probably right. About that time, a family comes in. A young-ish couple with a kid who's probably, I don't know, 7, 8, 9. I didn't even pay much attention to him. They come in, I kind of have my back to them when they come in. So she's, facing them, sitting across from me. And I hear him come in. And once she said something, I glanced over and looked. But this child is not being particularly, rowdy or out of line or loud or disruptive. But they're coming in and getting settled into their seats, and she's just looking over at him, like almost staring. And she's like, "Can you believe people would bring their rowdy kid out to eat in public?" And I'm like, as a father of two, I'm thinking, hell no. Like, you are not just throwing shade at this fucking kid. Like, this kid, I mean, their voice might have been a little high for what you consider an inside voice, but come on, it's a young child. They weren't running around tearing shit up and making a scene, throwing a fit or nothing. And I just kind of looked at her when she said that. She didn't notice because she's just watching them. And at this point, I'm pretty, wishy-washy on this whole thing. So, yeah, like I said, our food comes. We finish up eating, and we're getting ready to go back to my place. Well, we had made an agreement to split the bill, separate checks. Mostly because I was on such a tight budget, I have no issue, being a gentleman and paying the full bill, the full tab, especially, first date sort of situation. Be the gentleman. I have no issue with that. I also have no issue with a woman wanting to pay her own fair share. Cool. Especially in this situation where I'm short on funds. Well, they didn't. They put it all on one tab. So I paid the the big share of the bill. And she just covered, the rest of it. So, we're coming back to my place. I'm leaving there, broke. I had pulled out what little money I had left on my card to, cover my tab, and ordered appropriately considering. And so yeah, I'm walking out of there now with not a few bucks in my pocket, but nothing left until payday. So we come back here. She had neglected to bring movies with her, or a movie with her, as was the plan. We get back here. I got to pick up a little bit. I got a dog. I'd been home, or I'd been gone for 8 hours a day, right? I had to take the trash out, take the dog out, a few things like that. So, in the meantime, I set her up with YouTube, and on the PlayStation. It's like, hey, you can watch music videos, find something that entertains you, keep you busy while I'm doing this. So yeah, she watches some music videos. I finish up what I'm doing. I sit down. We get comfortable. I said, all right, well, I'm gonna pick something now. I'm gonna play something on YouTube now. And I was just looking for something, easy, like popcorn entertainment, nothing you don't have to think about, something, that'll make you chuckle, you can just sit and watch. And so I go to Good Mythical Morning, I'm a big fan. So we're sitting here, next to one another and, cuddling up a little bit. Yeah, the fact that I brought her back to my place just shows that I don't have very good judgment in the first place. But we're sitting here, I'm kind of putting a squeeze on her a little bit, and watching some Good Mythical Morning, and she's like, what is this show? I'm like, it's Good Mythical Morning, you ain't seen this before? And she's like, no. It's like, this is not what I watch. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, but, pretty much just sorry it ain't your cup of tea, because this is what I'm into. So we're watching it for a while, and we get through one, and I think another one auto-played or something, and we're just sitting here chatting. I'm just trying to get to know her a little better, for whatever reason. And she's like, can we just watch something else? This is just too weird. This is not what I like. And I'm like, okay, bitch. I'm trying to turn a blind eye to a lot that's going on here, and I'm trying not to be judgmental or, blow my chance of getting some action. But you don't cross the fucking line when you're talking shit on my GMM, right? So, alright, I got a big old fat binder of movies and TV series on DVD. So I pull that out and I'm going through it, looking through it. Okay. Well, how about House? Have you seen that show? Do you like that show? Because I've got seasons on loan from a buddy that I haven't even caught up on, so I thought it's something we could sit down and watch together. It's like, oh, that one with that doctor? She's like, that's kind of dumb. That's a dumb show. I'm like, okay. So no House then. So I end up asking her what she does like, and we settle on a horror movie, a scary movie. And, things get a little hot and heavy. We start fooling around a little bit, making out a little bit. and she's kind of going back and forth from being like comfortable and flirty and like initiating to being a little bit more reserved and like, well, I don't know what I want. I don't know. I'm like, okay, hey, I'm not gonna make you do anything you want to do. You be comfortable. Take your time. Figure out what you want. Whatever. I'm, right here, uh, giving her space. And we start fooling around a little bit more. And she had asked if I had beers in the fridge, right? So I'm like, well, yeah, I've got a few, but I already promised her that, like, if you're not comfortable with me drinking, like, I won't drink while I'm with you. It's not like we're in a long-term relationship, it's like a first date. It's like, if you're not comfortable with me drinking, I won't drink around you at all. But then she asked if I have any beer. I'm like, well, yeah, I've got a few in there. She's like, well, you can go ahead and have one. And I was like, no, I told you that I wouldn't. And she's like, it's okay, go ahead. It's like, if it'll help you calm down and relax. And I was like, well, I'm pretty chill right now. I'm pretty relaxed, but okay, I'm not gonna keep doing this with you. So I crack a beer, sit down, and we start. Like I said, we were fooling around a little bit, and then she gets up to use the bathroom and comes back, and then sits back over there on the love seat, across from me. I'm like, is everything okay? She's like, yeah, except. And then she gets into this story of telling me that there's this guy that she has sex with regularly. And what they do is get fucking wasted and screw. Okay? So she's like, yeah, I know it's really bad and I'm not supposed to be drinking like that. Or really at all. But goes on to tell me that that's all they do. They hook up and they get wasted and screw. It's like, maybe that's why I'm so nervous, because I'm sober and I'm not used to doing this sober. And at this point, yeah, red flag. At this point, I don't know if she's wanting me to throw her out or give her a beer. But I've only got like 3 more in the fridge, and that shit ain't happening. Like, you ain't getting one of my last beers. That ain't going down like that. And I pretty well wrapped it up there. I told her, well, you know what? You're single and I'm single, and I know you don't owe me anything, but I'm not having sex with someone who's currently having sex with someone else. I'm just not comfortable with that. Not at all. And she's like, oh, okay, I understand. And she seemed to, but she left pretty abruptly after that. And as she was going out the door, I said, well, it was good seeing you. Which, wasn't really all that honest on my part. But, I said, you can, message me later. You can chat me up this evening. I'll be up for a while. And she walks out the door without looking back at me and says, maybe. And I'm thinking, well, fuck you too, Like, fuck you. Yeah, that's pretty much the end of my story. She did blow up my phone later that night. Like, I don't know why I was so weird about it. I'm sorry if I made you uncomfortable. And I'm like, no, you were the one who was being uncomfortable and weird about everything. But made an effort to apologize. But there was just too many red flags. She had some seriously bizarre backward takes on a lot of issues. Like, this chick did not have a lukewarm opinion. This chick had never known a lukewarm opinion. Every opinion she had was strong, and the majority of them were garbage takes and backward as hell. I mean, she had some damn near medieval views on, like, some things. Still not entirely convinced she did not come up in a cult, but I also have no confirmation of that. So I think that'll about wrap it up for today's edition of Adventures in Dating. Thanks.